Hello, I am Attorney Masah S, SamForay, owner and founder of the Foray firm with offices in Chicago and Houston, and I am back to talk to you about all things immigration. So today, I'm going to actually be talking to you about what immigration is. I'm going to define it and talk to you about some of the acronyms, some of the terms, some of the governmental agencies that you should know and be able to differentiate if you are going through the immigration process. So what is immigration? Immigration is actually the movement of people from one country to another where they do not hold citizenship. Immigration can be for any number of different reasons. It can be for family reunification, because of political strife, simply for the purpose of tourism, for education. And so despite the rhetoric that you've heard if you've been paying attention to the news about immigration reform and the reasons why we should fear immigration, the vast majority of the over 800,000 plus applications that the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, that's the first acronym, USCIS processes, is really for the purpose of reuniting with family, bringing family members and emigrating them to join you in the United States. So if you have immigration issues, some of the acronyms you need to know, of course, I've already told you, USCIS. USCIS is going to be your first stop in the immigration process. USCIS is where you will submit your I-130 or your application for a visa. In addition to that, ICE. ICE is who you do not ever hope to see at your door. ICE is otherwise known as the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency. And so they are principally responsible for all things regarding illegal immigration and immigration enforcement. They're also responsible for transnational crimes, but we don't really, know them for that. What we know them for are the raids. If you've been paying attention, especially under this current administration, you know that ICE has been tasked with doing raids around the country and going out and taking illegal immigrants into detention. In addition to that, the U.S. Department of State, otherwise known as the State Department. So the State Department is responsible for all things diplomatic. They are the governmental agency that is responsible for U.S. diplomacy. They are the agency that heads all of the embassies, the consulates. They're run by the Secretary of State. And some of the famous Secretaries of State that we've had in the last few decades would include General Colin Powell, of course, Madeleine Albright, and my all-time fave, Hillary Clinton. In addition to that, if you have spent any time abroad or are familiar with any of the foreign agencies operating within the borders of the United States, you know about embassies and consulates. So what's the difference? Think of a consulate as a small mini embassy. So embassies are diplomatic missions that are placed in foreign states. Okay, and so if you came here having applied for a visa, your first step would have been to go to your local consulate, your U.S. consulate, or to your U.S. embassy in your country, and they would have initially done the interview process for you before you got the visa to come to the United States. Consulates are a smaller mini version of an embassy because they handle minor matters. They handle minor emergencies, minor tasks, whereas embassies are literally the face and the eyes and the ears and the arms of the U.S. government abroad. And finally, the Department of Homeland Security. Again, you've heard a lot about them, particularly under this administration. They are the civilian wing of the defense and protection. They handle terrorism threats. So anytime you've heard about terrorism, particularly post 9/11, then you've heard about how the Department of Homeland Security is handling matters, and they take the lead and take the charge on all things related to crimes of terrorism and threats of terrorism within the United States and against the United States abroad. I hope that helps.